Warning, PapaZacu is a professional moron. Do not take anything he says or does seriously. Everything on this channel is done for satire purposes. It is all a joke. Or is it? I don't know, that's for you to decide. After all, I'm not your dad! G'day guys. Welcome back to another episode of WeRGod.fm. I am your host as always, PapaZacu. And yes, I know what you're thinking. What the hell are you wearing? Well, if you don't know me, then you don't, but it's 2022, guys. Men can wear whatever the hell they want. Plus, I thought I felt a little bit comfortable in this. I thought I'd flex on how good my body's looking at the moment to hopefully try and get a few more of those female and those community likes and subscribes. Because, yeah the girls and yeah the gays. Am I right? And yeah the everything else, but you guys already know you're fucking awesome. Alright, today I thought I'd do a bit of a different video. I've mentioned it before, but today we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing a Q&A because I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing me just asking you all the same questions and answering those questions. So I thought, hey, why don't you give me the questions and I'll try and answer a few of them for you. I'll be honest with you, when I uploaded on my socials saying I was doing this, I did not expect to get that many followers. Steven, show the video for us, please. Hey guys, back out here again. I know the weather is a bit shit, but I'm not going to let that stop me. It's beautiful now, just going to make it beautiful. Speaking of, you can't diss the progress. It's a massive process and all that, but yeah. On that note, as you might have seen, I've been trying to get back into my creative side, and I thought I want to try something a bit different and a bit new. I want to do a Q&A type thing. If anyone has any questions, whether it's about life or about themselves or about me or just about anything that you'd like to hear my thoughts on, feel free to send me a message, whether you DM or you can use that anonymous thing if you're a bit of a pussy-o. But yeah, fucking would love to hear what everyone thinks, and feel free, go as hard as you need, or yeah, literally anything. Fucking, I think I need to hear what people are thinking, and I think you all need to hear what I'm thinking. Fucking peace and love, guys. Hopefully this turns out interesting. But yeah, as you can see, I didn't really think I'd be getting many views at all, if any, or any type of questions. Maybe one or two from a couple mates, but that's about it. But surprisingly, I got over 200 questions. Can I get a oath? Because frickin' oath. So I'm gonna try and answer as many as I possibly can. But I'll be honest, some of them are a little bit out there or a little bit just not what I want to be doing in these type of Q&A videos. However, a lot of the questions that I won't use here, I hope that I can use those in other videos and other type of podcast formats and other things in the future of WeRGod.fm. You know, because there is some really good questions here. Just some of them I don't think I can answer fully on my own. But we're getting there, baby. Alrighty, now give me a second. I just got to scroll down to the bottom of these. There's some juicy ones. I won't lie, I have read a few of them, but let's see how we go. Hopefully we start with some bangers. Alrighty. How are you doing? Alright. Yeah, I'm doing okay, guys. Honestly, today, if we're talking in general, like when you asked this question 10 days ago, probably was doing a bit shitter than I am now, but that's life, you know. You're always getting better every single day. And at the end of the day, it's you versus you. It's you versus you 10 minutes ago. It's you versus you 10 days ago. It's you versus you 10 years ago. And honestly, I'm doing really good. What is your zodiac sign? Well, just in time, actually, as of yesterday, we're in Scorpio season, baby. So I'm feeling at the peak of my power, ready for my birthday coming up in just under a month now. Yeah, should be a really good one, guys. I know there's a lot of stigmas on all the horoscopes, and especially Scorpios and stuff as well, but honestly, it's such a wavy thing, you know. I believe, I need to believe to be a better person when it comes to that stuff, but all the toxicity that comes with star signs and stuff, it can be a bit of a headache, you know what I mean? And it just gives you brain damage if you sit there and constantly believe just on one thing, like, oh, okay, because of my star sign that means so much. Well, I do believe that it does depict a lot of things, and there's so many deep and meaningful things to do with the zodiac signs and astrology and all that. But just like religion, just like a Bible, just like anything else, it all, you gotta read between the lines of it all, just like you gotta read between the lines of life. When is my birthday? Well, good question, since we were talking about star signs. My birthday is the 20th of the 11th, 2022, baby. So I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. And yeah, I just answered the second question after that. How old are you? Again, 22. If you are the same person who asked both those questions, it would have been obvious that I was going to answer them in one question, so you didn't have to ask me two questions. Ooh. Any siblings? Yes, I actually am the eldest of 4. Sometimes it feels like I live in a family of siblings, the way that everyone acts here. But yeah, I'm the eldest of 4. 1 little sister and 2 younger brothers. Fucking love them all, but oh, sometimes I could boot them across the field, eh? Interesting question. Is there a dream that you keep having? What is it? I have a few recurring dreams, in all honesty, and I feel like some of them are all set in the same type of universe, you know? Which isn't this universe. It's one of the dream planes of existence, the fringe, or whatever you want to call it. I know there's many names that all these hipstery cunts call it, but they're my dreams, and I don't know, there's none but fully reoccurring, but there's a lot of reoccurring themes, whether it's trust issues or abandonment issues or just being left alone. That does come up in a lot of my dreams, but they're issues that I'm facing through my dreams and getting better at dealing with in real life. Like one of them recently, I had this dream that I turned into a bear and I had to leave my whole family behind and live in a forest not far from where I live, and I literally didn't see any of my family for years. The only people that came and visit me was my grandparents, and that's a weird one since my grandparents live in Sydney, but it was still really nice, you know, and it just gave me that clarity of like, family's gonna love you no matter what, and there's nothing you can do about it. What did you do today? I feel weird because like this question was asked 8 days ago and I can't remember what I was doing 8 days ago, but what I did today was wake up, do my morning routines, hang out with my dog, help my dad around the house, made some food, did a little bit more workout, and did some cleaning up, and now I'm here talking to you dickheads. If you could only have one superpower and it can't be like Superman who has multiple, what would it be? That's a good question, and I'm torn between 2, and it's based on my 2 favorite characters. Bro, I gotta stop saying eh. That's one note for every video maker out there and anyone who's on YouTube. Try and find better things than because I know it gets repetitive and annoying. Trust me, I can hear it as well. If you could pick one superpower, what would it be? I'd probably go with a torn between my 2 favorite ones, and that would be Nightcrawler's powers from the X-Men, which is teleporting, because I feel like teleporting would be really, really cool, and it would just be able to get me out of situations that I don't want to be in, and just be easier than having to drive everywhere. I could just be like, boop. And my other power from my other favorite superhero from DC would probably be the Flash, the Scarlet Speedster, because like, again, it would be good to be able to get out of situations fast and be able to get to places I need without the reliance on a car or other people or blah 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 blah, just my bare legs. You can think about it in a way of, yeah, my 2 favorite superheroes just prove I have commitment issues because I'm just always trying to escape, but that's on you to decide. What is your hidden sexuality, Blase? See, these type of questions confuse me because I do believe that sexuality is just this man-made construct to try and label everyone, you know? Like, I believe as a human, I just like pleasure, whether it's from women, which is awesome, or if it's from someone who I really, really deeply care about, male or female, or trans or whatever. Like, connection and pleasure and all that should go hand in hand in a healthy, untoxic, communicating way, consensually of course, and you should be able to put up your boundaries on whatever, whether if you want to be a top or a bottom or an adult like me who's quite versatile. What is your most used emoji? At the moment, my most used emoji is probably the heart with the fire on it. I've used that one quite a lot. Yeah, okay, next question. Any foods you can't stand? Now, I'm not really a picky eater. I'll try just about everything, but certain mushrooms I don't like the texture of. See, I'm not really picky when it comes to food, but the way that food can be presented or the way that people cook their food, I'm very picky on that. Like, I refuse to eat anything if it's came in a microwave. I believe that once you put something in a microwave, it ruins the flavor, and it also adds all these unneeded bacteria which are really bad for you. And yeah, no, I'm not saying that it can cause radiation and cancer and stuff like they thought it back in the 60s, but yeah, there is proven that microwaves are not beneficial, full stop. The only thing they're good for is microwave popcorn. Are you an early bird or a night owl? Well, I like to see myself as a bit of both, depending on the situation of the day. Like, I love to seize the day. I love waking up early, going for a run, doing my own thing, especially when I was working in the factories. I used to love waking up and watching the sunrise right before I started my shift. It was the best thing ever. But then there's days where I like to sleep in and I'll spend all night up and about, because there's nothing better than staying up and watching the sunrise, you know? And I think people who try and, again, categorize themselves in one thing or another is silly. You can be both things as long as you're healthily moderating it. What are you being for Halloween this year? Well, I've already been a few things this year. I was an eggplant, and I was also a serial killer dressed up as a hippie, and I still got a few more days left of this spooky season, which I'm keen for. I was planning on doing drag this year, but I don't think I'm gonna have time to get it all done, so there's always next year, baby. What is your definition of success? I like this one, because success is such a wide spectrum, and I feel like everyone's chasing success. But success is just doing the best by you in that day, you know? As long as you're doing better than how you would have reacted in another way, probably in your past, then that's a successful day. That's success to the fucking T, you know? Because so many people are just chasing success because they think that success is like money or financial wealth or physical wealth or whatever, but that's not success, especially if it's not something that actually is benefiting you, you know? So some of these questions, like, it's weird, you know, I'm used to being the one who speaks to you guys about it and already knows all what I want to speak about, so it's weird just going into it, answering so many questions. But yeah, I'm getting there. We're not even halfway through them, but we're getting there. In your own opinion, what is your best quality? Well, I think that my best quality is my mouth, is my way of preaching, my way of talking, and my way of just being a friendly but serious person and a comically funny person, to be able to get out everything I need to get out when I need to get it out. But in saying that, it can also be my biggest downfall when I am tired or when I am in my head or when I do have my moments and I just can't shut up and I just keep going and going and going and digging myself a hole, and next thing I know, I've made a mountain out of a molehill, and it's just bad. But I've gotten better every single day at practicing things to keep my mouth and myself aligned, and so that I don't have those outbursts. Got this, guys, after all. You know what we bloody are. Who always makes you laugh? My friends, honestly. Every single one of them, always putting a big smile on my face. Some more than others, but y'all know who you are. What is your favourite season and why? Ooh, I like this question because I feel like it depends on where I am. You know, when I lived in Sydney, spring was my favourite season, but when I live in Queensland, I prefer autumn, but that's just because the seasons change no matter where you are in Australia. When you're living in Queensland, it's so much hotter no matter where you are, so like, you gotta find the right balance of it, you know? While in Sydney, it always feels a good 10 degrees colder, so it makes it easier to enjoy the nice weathers. But yeah, I just like the brightness of things. If the day is bright and ready to be seized, I'm ready to be seized, you know? If you could travel, and if you could time travel without any consequences, where would you go and why? Probably go back and like watch my whole childhood again, in all honesty. Take, like, as long as I'm not interfering or anything, even though it says no consequences, like still, as long as I'm not interfering, it would be nice to just take notes on like things that I feel like I do remember, but I can't remember the fullness or the full seriousness of those moments. And so that way I can get better in the now by learning my own past. But again, I don't have a time machine, so you just got to do that on your own in the best ways you can, whether that's therapy or self-taught or whatever you find is a great method for you. Someone else asked a superpower question, what would you choose? Well, on this one, because they didn't give me any options, I'm going to say I want the powers of Amazo, which is a DC character in which all he has to do is just look at a person and he evolves and he adapts those powers. He ended up being able to take on every single character in DC Comics just by looking at them and copying and replicating their skills. It's pretty cool, pretty smart. And yeah, he was actually started off as an android that became self-aware and then like built and then evolved itself like actual carbon skin, which is pretty cool. Amazo is one of my favorite like anti-heroes in the DC comic. What is the most outlandish thing on your bucket list? Fucking your dad. Nah, honestly, like, my bucket list is so broad and there's so many things I want to do, from skydiving to swimming with the sharks to having a big orgy with everyone on this planet. But like, some of those things are more achievable than others, and I try not to think about my bucket list until it's there in the moment and I'm doing those things. Because if you keep focusing on, oh, I'm going to add this to my bucket list, I'm going to add this to my bucket list, I'm going to add this to my bucket list, you end up with a massive list, but then nothing that you actually end up getting done, you know? Just gotta take it as it comes and enjoy every single moment. How do you deal with stress? Interesting question. For a long time I used to struggle with stress, and like I used to use a lot of different unhealthy patterns, whether it's eating too much or smoking too much or drinking too much to deal with my stress. But recently I've been doing a lot of more better things by me, like cooking and eating healthier and going for runs and just giving myself some me time that I like, you know. And another thing that really does help me with dealing with stress is the creativity, doing things like this. You know, I love making the videos and it really just helps put me in a good place of mind. Even if they aren't the best videos, or even if they're a little bit how you going, they're still proof that I'm doing something and that I can always get better. You know, just like I'm getting better in my own life, I can always get better through my videos. What did your favourite teacher do to earn the title favourite teacher? Alright, so I had this drama teacher named, I won't out his full name, but we used to call him Wazza. And Wazza was the best. Like, he had a lot of attitude, but he was a kind, really caring person. He cared about his students and he would let you know that. And I went through a phase where I was a bit depressed in high school, and I wasn't really maintaining my cleanliness. You know what I mean? I was a fucking dirty rat bag. That's what I'm trying to say. And I went like a good few weeks without brushing my teeth at times, and it was gross. And so one day after class, he just pulled me aside and he's like, "Hey, when was the last time you brushed your teeth?" Blah blah blah. And like he just full called me out on it, and like I didn't know whether to thank him or to cry or whatever. But from then, that's when I started really looking after myself. I started brushing my teeth every day, properly putting deodorant on, investing in nice colognes, looking after myself. Because if one person who can see it, so can everyone else. And it just makes you a better person, just the maintenance of little things like that, you know? It's all about the mentality. What's the worst decision you've ever made? Making these videos. Nah, honestly, like, I don't have any worse decisions, I've made a lot of silly decisions in my life, but nothing that I would classify as the worst decision. After all, got it tattooed across my fucking collarbone. No regrets, baby, and that's how I like to live. What do you consider unforgivable? I think ultimate betrayals are very unforgivable, whether it's cheating or physical harm to someone, or manipulating people. Like any of those type of things I consider very unforgivable traits, because yeah, you might be able to get better, but it makes it so hard to trust you once you've crossed those lines, you know what I mean? What do you think you'll be like in your old age? The coolest fucking old man around, I'll tell you that much. And I don't know what he's going to have and how successful he's going to be, but I know that he's going to be doing a lot better than me right now. And that's all that matters. Ooh, I like this one. Be a master in one thing or decent at most things. I definitely think that being decent at a whole bunch of things is better than just being a master in one thing, because you'll become a master of life, you know, because you're putting yourself in all these different things, whether it's a work hobby or your own hobby or a sexual hobby or whatever it is, you know, you're putting yourself in all these different things and you're slowly building your horizon rather than just sticking with tunnel vision of this is the only way I can do things, I have to stick to this. You start learning new things and new things even about yourself and new patterns that you never thought would exist until you get out there and try it, rather than just sticking with the one thing and becoming this master and thinking you have this ego of, oh, I'm better than anyone else in this because I did this. But then if you were to try to do something else that someone else is really good at, you're going to fail, and then the only person to blame is you. But if you get out there and if you try everything as much as you can, then what do you got to lose? Do you believe in aliens? Of course I do, I'm not a bloody moron, but I believe that there's a lot more to it in the more spiritual side, which we still fully haven't understand yet, and I do believe that not until we all get to a good point of enlightenment that we're even going to be close to meeting aliens yet, you know. We still need to really defeat our egos and defeat this war on consciousness that has been trapping us for fucking millennia, but I think we're nearly there. The newer generations and this generation and even the older generations, we're all starting to see eye to eye a lot more than how we used to, and I think together we're going to break through this war, I'm telling you guys. All-time favourite band? Definitely Simple Plan. Simple Plan's been there for me throughout so many things in my life. Exes, family members' passings, general depression of moving and stuff away from my hometown, just everything throughout my whole life they've been there for, and yeah, makes me a Simple fan. This is an interesting one. You still at Carl's Jr.? Nah mate, I haven't been there in like 2 years, maybe longer actually. I used to be employed a month there almost every second month because I was such a great worker, until I finally got sick of the unfair treatment that gets put on me and other staff members, and then when I spoke up, everyone else was too spineless, and then I'm the one who got fired. It is what it is. Favorite piece of random trivia? Well, I got a good one actually here. Did you know that the reason why a lot of restaurants and stuff have to give free water out to customers is thanks to 9/11? Because during 9/11, when people were running out of the building with smoke and ash in their lungs, they were running into all the stores and stuff around the Twin Towers, and one capitalistic bastards themselves, Mr. Starbucks, decided, oh, we're going to still charge you guys $2.50 for water, and then when they realised how many people were running in, they're like, you know what we'll do? We'll up it to $4.50. So they were charging people on 9/11 $4.50 for a cup of water when they're choking and got ash and like black lung. Fuck the system. We gotta tear down this patriarchy. When was the last time you really got to experience nature? Ooh. I feel like it was a few weeks ago actually. I had a really good time. Took a nice trip with a few mates down to a nice spot, you know, and we just had a good nature time. It was beautiful. Really got in touch with my soul and my spirit and all that hippie crap, and it was beautiful. Ooh. What do you think is the true source of joy and happiness? I think it's yourself. I think with loving yourself and staying present to yourself, you find that there's nothing else to really be concerned about. As long as you're happy, that's all you need, you know? And it's just, yeah, that self-love, and that's the true thing of finding joy and happiness throughout the whole world. It's just by loving yourself and not really caring what any Joe Blow mum's hoe is going to say. If you could ask God one question, what would you ask them? I don't know, that's why I'm getting you guys to ask me. That's the whole point of this, guys. Did you not read the thing? I can go to bed, dig it. Again, what is the truth? The truth is, WeRGod.fm, and if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing, dickhead? What do you think makes humanity different from other lives? I like this question. I think what makes humanity so special and so different is our ever needing knowledge to expand and to keep evolving, even where we've hit these wars so many times where we can only keep going in a certain way until there's nothing else. But I think we're starting to realise that now that we've kept going and we've kept going and we've kept going, now we've got to keep trying to see what other ways we can go, you know? And we might evolve in a new light which might be even better than we'd even realised. But for that we've got to tear down the walls that have already been built up so that we can find new ways to move forward. If there really is a heaven, how do you think one gets there? I believe that it's not a heaven like how it's depicted, you know, there's a there where everything is what we want in the most enlightened way possible. But the thing is, we're always going to come back to here. No matter how much we try, we're always going to come back to here, because that's just how it is, you know, and like it's just a connected consciousness of life. There's always going to be the part that wants to not be, that can't be content in contemplacy. You know, there's going to be that part that's always wants to go back and try again. And that's life, you know, and the only way to get to there and feel finally peace there is by just doing the best here, right now, right in this instant. Do you ever think there will be world peace? I think that we're getting there, and I think that especially if we have anything to do with it, we're definitely going to slowly see some more changes. Because after all, we are God, and we are the awakeners. We are the higher conscious beings. Oh, whoever wrote this one, you're a cheeky dog. Well, I'll answer it anyways, because you're wrong. Who are you crushing on? And then in comments, we both know you are, so don't lie and don't dog it, just give us the answer, cunt. I honestly can say that I am not crushing on anyone. However, I was crushing for a very long time and just finding myself in the same loop that I always have. But I've just gotten to a point where there's no point of needing to crush on anyone, because everyone loves everyone, and as long as I just keep loving everyone and being the best me and the best friend and the best just Zach that I can be, the best PapaZacu that I can be, then what's my worry, you know? Because I don't need anyone but me. And if to answer your question on that case, my biggest crush is me, because that's the only person who I truly do love. Through some of these questions, so give me a bit of time to go through them, because some of them are a little bit how you going, and I don't think this channel is ready for those type of questions yet. Favorite genre of porno? Don't really have a favorite genre. I like what I like, and in all honesty, I've been trying to cut off that type of stuff and find different ways to release if I need a visual aid, but this brain and this head's big enough to have a lot of imagination, so yeah. Plus, like, you don't need to constantly be on those sites, you know. Who am I? 14-year-old me? Oh. Oh, I like this one. They just said this in their song. Zackass? Question mark. Now, if you know me, which I doubt you bloody do, and if you do, then you're in for another story you've heard before. But again, I've always liked creating. I've always liked to make videos. And back in the day, I was planning on making a channel called Zackass, which was literally my version of Jackass, which was just me getting bashed around by all my mates. I fell into a bunch of mouse traps. I had darts thrown at my stomach. I even had an electric dog shock collar somewhere lying around, but I used to use that. It was quite fun. Makes a lot of sense of how I am and why I am how I am today. But hey, don't kink shame. On that note, what is your most shameful kink? I actually don't believe there is anything at all, or any such thing as a shameful kink. I think that every kink can be explained and can be beautiful when seen in its own light. Yeah, some things are weird as fuck, you know, don't get me wrong. And that just means that they're not for you. But every kink, as long as it's not hurting anyone, hurting anyone without their consent, or it's not hurting you, or anything like that, and it's safe and it's done in a controlled environment, then what's the harm in that? Like, people have a lot of different issues and they're just trying to find ways to express it, and kink is very, very important, and I honestly think that it should be taught in more schools and more things at a younger age, so that people didn't feel so insecure and so like thinking that it's a shameful thing, because there's literally nothing shameful with finding ways to love yourself, whether that's being choked out or choking someone else out, or wax play, or even if you're into piss play. Like, it's a bit weird, but like, good on you. And like, the only thing I don't stand for is those fucking weeaboo bastards. Yeah, usually the weird ones. I'd rather hang out with a furry than someone who watches anime, but like, that's on me. Whoever's asking these questions, I gotta get you some sauce, because you're saucy. Who took your virginity? Now, I won't name and shame, but it was a girl that, and I always feel bad for this, and I think I mentioned this in a video before, but I was talking to this girl when I was about 16, 17, it was right before I was going on tour with an acting company, and she really liked me, but I'll be honest, I liked her friend. I liked her friend a lot, but her friend didn't see me the way that the other chick saw me. But I wasn't really attracted to the other chick, but unfortunately we were at a party, things started getting hot and heavy, we went back to my place, and yeah, we done the deed. It was actually on Australia Day, or whatever you want to call it day, but like, that's what I like to call it at least, because I don't support fucking invasions, you know. Yeah, colonization, PapaZacu does not support. Oh, but yeah, it was weird that day, because she pretty much told me that if we do that, then we've got to become boyfriend and girlfriend, and I was like, oh, okay, and then we dated for 2 weeks, and then yeah, I ended up breaking it off because I just couldn't deal. It was not me, you know, and like, I didn't want to use someone for just the reason of sex, when like I needed a lot more of a connection than just that to start dating someone. Sex on its own is fine, I can do that all day and all night long, but to date someone like that, like, I need to have the connection with them, you know. There's that line, that there's a massive line, you know, to date someone you really like, because I could date someone and not have any sexualness with them, like we could be completely celibate, but if that means that I have to have the best connection with them, and I've met people like that so far, where I'm like, I don't even need to do anything with you, I just love your connection. But then there's people where it's like, I can have all the physical stuff with, but I need to make a strong connection to ever feel like I could date that person. I got to go through the physical first before I can get to the mental. But again, every person's different, and I'm different with every person, and that's just life. We're human. How big is your peen? Bigger than your dad's. If you weren't such a dirty little wog, what culture would you want to be instead? I love every culture, and I love being a wog, because it's made me who I am today. It's made me this very open-minded person, but if I was to choose another culture, I don't think I could, because we are the human race ourselves, you know, we are every culture. It's just, you only just see so much of what your culture knows, you know, so you only get that much of it. But I've noticed, especially over growing up, over the years that so many cultures are similar, whether it's your Indian cultures or your Islander cultures or your Asian cultures or your world cultures. We all have a lot of similar things, we just do things differently. So therefore, like, I couldn't pick one culture because I love all the cultures. PlayStation, Xbox or Nintendo? How about go for a run? Interesting question here. I've got a few of these. I'm gonna speed run these ones through. All right. Opinion on waitresses and hospitality workers in general. One of the biggest backbones of almost every country, but they don't get the appreciation they deserve, and all they do is get abused by workers. As someone who's been in that industry for quite a while, I feel like everyone needs to get their shit together and realize how much we need these people before they're all gone. Opinions on soldiers, better than police. Opinions on Woolworths employees, Audi's better. Ooh. An opinion on Centrelink bludgers. I believe that there is nothing wrong with being on the dole when you need it, but when you consistently use that as your only full source of income, since you legally could, and you don't have any plans to do better with your life or define or do anything in your young adulthood, you're going to get to a point where you're going to need to get off your ass and do something, and you're not going to know how to do anything because you've spent so long thinking that it's okay to be just taking money from the government. Which, again, fuck the government, take all the money you want, but there is levels to it, you know? And I think that so many people I know just sit there and use, and then they come up with excuses like, oh, I do a little bit of work, I do this thing occasionally. But no, bro, you're not out there like I know I have had to be, searching for jobs all the time, especially going, like, the amount of jobs I've had over this year alone, of going back and forth throughout so many different industries, has been insane. And while I've been doing that, I see the same people sitting there living at mummy and daddy's fucking houses that they get to have for virtually nothing, and they get to sit on their dole and sit on their thing and game all day and smoke all night, and it's like, fucking, I wish I could be doing that too, pal, but I can't. Opinion on PapaZacu in 10 years time, discuss it. Alright, so I heard something from one of my many inspirations, Matthew McConaughey, and I really like this point of view on things, right? When asked where do I see myself in 10 years, or who is my hero, or whatever, I see it's me in 10 years, because me in 10 years is just going to be doing better than I am now. Because at the end of the day, you should be your only hero, and it should be a hero that you can't obtain, you know? So yeah, myself in 10 years is my hero, and what I'm planning that I should be doing better than how I am today, and my enemy is me from fucking the past, me from yesterday, me from last week, me who was not anywhere near where I need to be. And that's fine, because you're never going to be there if you keep trying to put a attainable goal. It has to be something outrageous that you're going to just keep going for, because you know that deep down in your heart you can do it. This isn't a question, but thank you. Someone's wrote, you kind of look like Chicken Little. Ha ha ha. You kind of look like a little bitch. Ha ha ha. Why are you gay? I honestly don't know. I've been trying to figure that out for years. Once I figure it out, I'll let you guys know. What is a positive change you have made recently in your life? One of the biggest positive changes I've made recently is by just, again, focusing on me. And I know that sounds so broad and so bland, but it's really so true. By focusing on me, I've been able to actually focus better on everything else, because I'm not caring so much on little things of if this person likes me or if that person doesn't. I'm just focusing on me, and everything else around is just going to fall into place, you know? And by focusing on me, it gives me more time to reach out to the ones that I want to reach out, and the people who I feel like I haven't been giving enough care, because I've been just focusing too much on other people that have too much of my care. And don't get me wrong, I'm always going to give those people my care, but they don't need it constantly because they just don't. And I know that, and they know that, and to have a healthy relationship with those people too, I need to just focus on myself and love myself. Ooh, this is a good one. In your opinion, what is the toughest subject to talk about with a stranger? Religion, finances, or politics? Now, I always hear people going on about how you can't talk any of those topics with people, but I believe, why not? That's how you pick through the weak and find the strong. People who are able to have a debate, whether you see eye to eye or you see differently, that's perfect, you know, especially if you see differently, because then you can give each other full facts and full knowledgement on your own versions, because especially when we're getting to a point in our lives where we are getting quite smart and quite educated, but you can always be wrong, so it's always good to talk to other educated people and see how they see those situations, because you might end up learning something that you didn't even know. One person that always makes me smile, myself. Could name a few other people, but they already know who they are, so I don't need to out them. Ooh, what's the most beautiful place you have ever visited? Now, I've done a lot of traveling. I've been to the States, I've been to Mexico, but honestly the most beautiful place I've ever been is the beaches in Bundaberg, where I saw the baby sea turtles hatch. Definitely something I recommend everyone doing. Like, once in a lifetime experience, so beautiful, so just insane. It's just really brought peace and love to me for the first time of realizing just how beautiful this world is. Definitely recommend everyone go on at least once. If you had to spend the rest of your life in one place, where would it be? Canada. That's where I'd love to retire, but I know I'm far away from there. Still got plenty more to do. What is the most difficult thing you've had to deal with in life? Probably just dealing with myself, in all honesty, and just figuring out the best ways to be me, which aren't going to impact other aspects or other morals that I have or people around, you know? So I know a lot of these questions have been very, like, a lot of my answers have been very self-helpy and stuff, but like, that's just how I am, guys. Deal with it. Most memorable moment with your parents? Probably when my dad took us on our first helicopter ride when we were over in the States when I was like 12 years old, and we went over the Grand Canyon and everything. That was just, a moment that I'll never forget, and I'm always thankful for that I got to spend with them. Oh, I like this question. I remember thinking about this one before it came up. If you're aware, what is the biggest change you've made in someone else's life? Now, I feel like I've made a lot of changes in a lot of people's lives, but the ones that I'm definitely aware of is when I've taken people on certain trips and showed them a whole new way of looking at their lives, and I've seen the growth since those trips, and just seeing how much better they are due to that, and it makes me feel better, you know. And don't get me wrong, there's times where these people are still going to be ignorant and in their head and annoying as all fuck, but they have came so much further, and I don't take any credit for it. I give them all the credit, but I'm just glad that I was able to be a part of their journey. What do you value most? Quality time or quantity of time? Both are really good in their own thing. There's times where I could deal with just some quick quality time where it could just be a 10-minute, not even conversation or a phone call or a hangout. Or there's times where I want to hang out with a person for like 24 hours straight, you know, just because I haven't seen them in so long and it's so good. But obviously it depends on my mood at the time and how my relationship is with that person. I'm going to merge both of these questions to two, because they're both kind of, I have the same sort of answer for them. What do you hate seeing around you the most, and what stresses you out more than anything? Just hypocritical energy, you know, people who, and again, we're all able to have hypocritical energy, but it's when you aren't able to call yourself out on it, and you don't self-reflect enough to get better every time, and you just keep repeating the same things and the bad toxic ways of living. And it's just, it honestly disgusts me, because I know that you can do better. You know, I know that I can do better, and I know that all of us can do better. So why aren't you? again, it's a process that we're all trying to get better at. What are you most insecure about? Honestly, I'm most insecure about some things from my past, which I've been really coming to terms a lot with recently, and bursting those bubbles and those mindsets to realise that there's nothing to really be insecure about. Yeah, I've made mistakes, but no one even remembers them as deeply as I do. So just move on, acknowledge your failures, and just keep being a better person every single time. Have you ever experienced discrimination or prejudice? Yes, I have. I've experienced it on myself, I've experienced it with others, and I've been there when I've seen people get spat on, arrested, fucking attacked just for no reason, and except for prejudice and discriminational causes. And it's disgusting, and it's sad to see that it's still happening, especially in this country. And I don't know, get your shit together, guys, or fucking go to bed. Is there anything you'd like to do with your family more often? I'd like to be able to have conversations with them more often without it turning into all-in brawls constantly. And we're getting there, little by little, but it is a journey, I'll tell you that much. What do you believe child you thinks about you right now? Honestly, I think child me would be really proud. Obviously, there's so much yet that I haven't achieved yet. I still haven't had a long-lasting relationship with someone, but again, who cares about those things? I still haven't reached being famous yet, but who cares about those things? What I have done is greater than any of that, because at least I'm doing things. At least I'm out here making these videos, talking to you guys now, and I know that child me would be so proud and so impressed with that. Alright, look, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I feel like this video is going on for way too long. I'm probably going to have to do a part 2. If I get over 10 likes on this video, I'll definitely do a part 2. Yeah. If I get 10 likes and 5 new subscribers on this video, I'm 100% going to do a part 2, because I still got plenty more good questions to answer here, but I know that this video is going to be long enough, and I already got to do quite a bit of editing and all that on it. So on that note, I have been your host as always, PapaZacu. Make sure to like, subscribe, and all that jazz, and as always, WeRGod.fm, baby. Make that loud, make that proud, and give us a share. Love you all. Peace and love. It's PapaZacu, motherfucker. It's PapaZacu, bitch. Let's get some pussy tonight.
You fucking alcoholic. Oh my god, you're gonna be 6 pints.